Today I'm going to address a very common question that I get. That is how to set up landowner agreements. And we're going to look at 3 different types of arrangements that I've used over the years. That's coming up next on The Urban Farmer. As many of you may know, I don't own the land that I farm on. Well, at least most of it. I do own my own piece of property, but I didn't start that way. When I first started my farm, I was sleeping on my mom's couch, and I was leasing trading for a few different lots. So you don't have to own land to farm. I've talked about this many times before, and I'm not going to get into all the nuances of that because I think you guys who follow me enough understand that that is just the reality of the type of farming that we're doing. But what I'm going to talk about today are 3 different types of arrangements that I've used over the years, and there's probably more out there, but these are the 3 most common that I see, and the 3 that I currently use. Well, actually I only use 2 of them. But the first one we're going to talk about is a trade for vegetables. So this is more or less what my business is based on. In fact, the lot that I'm standing on right here, this is done for a trade. So this is my neighbor's house. I actually bought my house from them, and I was farming in my property on this property before I even rented the house. Then I moved in, and then I eventually bought it. That's a whole other story. But these types of arrangements are basically just trades. So in exchange for the use of their land, we give them a basket of vegetables each week. So that will be a seasonal basket of whatever the farm is producing. And I give my landowners the option to come to the farmer's market and take whatever they like. They take about $25 to $30 per week for the entire season that we're farming on their property, or they can just place an order and we'll drop it off at their house. Most of our landowners now just pick it up at the farmer's market because they like coming to the market. So that was the backbone of my farm when I started, and that's still how we do it today. The other type of arrangement you might do would be a rental, where you had this is about 1,000 square foot plot. You could rent it for 7 months of the year and just pay about $100 a month. That would be fair, considering that farming in high rotation, I can make almost $10,000 off this plot in a season. So $100 a month for 6 months is a pretty negligible expense. So that's another way you could do it, is just rent the plot. The other most common way to farm on land that you don't own is to set up a lease agreement. And I've done this many different times. I still have a lease that I use today. And there's a couple different ways of looking at it. So some things to consider. So I'll just kind of give you an example of what I've done in the past. So I used to have a 2-acre field that we leased, and it was $4,000 a year. So the benefits of that lease agreement was, so it's 2 acres, it's quite a bit of land. It's a little bit out of town, but not totally. But the landowner gave us access to some of his machinery. So he had a bobcat that he let us use every now and then. And he had a big equipment trailer that he let us use. And the site was really big so that we could get large amounts of compost and wood chips dropped off there. So there was some value add that he tacked on there. So all in all, that was a good arrangement. $4,000 a year for 2 acres is a pretty good deal. The other lease that I have, and that I've had for a number of years, is one of my urban plots. We go to it many times in my videos. It's the one that doesn't have a house on it. I lease that for about $2,000 a year, and that's only 5,000 square feet. So that's expensive if you're comparing it to the 2-acre site, but it has maybe 2 advantages that other site doesn't have. First advantage it has is that it's in a very visible location, and that is a big marketing piece. A lot of people learn about our farm and get exposure to us just by walking by that site. So there's a lot of value in that. The other value is that it's in the city and it benefits from the heat island effect. That plot, compared to the 2 acres that I've had in the past, is about 5 degrees Celsius warmer on average throughout the season, so I've got that advantage there. On a site like that, 5,000 square foot site, we can do about $30,000 of revenue on that site for a year. So $2,000 cost for that is a pretty fair price. So, you know, we're willing to pay that for the use of that land. Having said that, we did spend quite a few $1,000s setting that site up, whereas on the rural agricultural land we had in the past, we didn't have to. It had more or less been prepped for ag. So again, there's some pros and cons to it. So the three again are trades for veggies or perhaps other services you might have, rental agreements where you're paying on a month-to-month basis, or lease agreements where you pay per year. Those are the three ones that I've done, and they're the three ones that I see the most common for landless farmers. So hope you guys have found that helpful. If you want to see more stuff like this, please subscribe to the channel right now. Like and share these videos with your friends. Check out my online course, profitableurbanfarming.com, my book at theurbanfarmer.co, and if you'd like to make a donation to the show to keep this content free, it's always welcome. Go to theurbanfarmer.co/support. All right, guys, thanks for watching.